So what is the Parliament, Jamali?
Parliament is a legislative body which comprises President and two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha.
So what is the use of conducting this youth mock parliament?
This event is organized to check the debating skills of the students and to check the knowledge of the students about the current issues facing by the country.
So this creates a good chance for participating in this event.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have youth mock parliament session in our school. First of all, I take the privilege of welcoming all the dignitaries who have come from Narayana Group of Schools. DGM Ma'am, Mrs. Pushpalita Ma'am, and Dean Mrs. Samyukta Ma'am, and Senior Principal Mr. and Arumbakkam Branch Principal Mrs. Usha Venkatesh Ma'am. Senior Principal Mr. Ratnakumar Sir and Arumbakkam Branch Principal Mrs. Usha Venkatesh Ma'am and Poonamandi Branch Mrs. Asra Ma'am. Ma'am, I would request you to come forward. Sir, I will request you to come forward and take the Here the session goes on and the speaker enters.
I, having been elected a member of Council of State, do swear in the name of God, solemnly affirm that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India, and that I will uphold the sovereign and the integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter. Jai Hind. I request all the honorable members of the Parliament to take their seats. Honorable members of the Parliament, it is my sad duty to inform the demise of our Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Sri J. Jayalalitha. Jayalalitha was an Indian actor, stood for election who served 5 terms as the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu for over 14 years between 1991 and 2016. In 1991, Jayalalitha became the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, the youngest, for the first time. Jayalalitha first came into prominence as a leading film actor and worked in 140 movies in Tamil, Telugu and Kannada. Jayalalitha died on 5th December 2016 due to a cardiac arrest.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to pay my tributes to Ms. J. Jayalalitha. Kumari Jairam Jayalalitha had become the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu for the 6th time, which is a pride to our country, and she is one of the bold ladies that our country has seen. Nadu's Chief Minister succumbed to a cardiac arrest on December 5. The 68-year-old politician was undergoing treatment at Apollo Hospital in Chennai for 73 days. Jayalalitha started her career as an actress before moving to politics in 1982. She was inducted into AIADMK by her mentor and former co-star MGR. She became the youngest and second woman Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu in 1991. In May 2016, she started her sixth term as Chief Minister of TN.
I request all the members of the Parliament and dignitaries to raise and give respect. 1 minute silence. I request all the respected members of the Parliament to take their seats. I request the Secretary General to convey the condolence message to the Virai family members. I request the Honourable Prime Minister to introduce the proposals and his cabinet ministers.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to introduce you the Cabinet Ministers. Finance Minister, Ms. Taruniya Umachandra. Railways Minister, Mr. Anish Khan. External Affairs Minister, Ms. Rasha Anjum Rajesh. Defence Minister, Ms. Namita Sujit Kumar. Educational and Human Resource Development Minister, Ms. Kavya Nagarajan. Higher Education Minister, Mr. Suraj Kiran. Rural Development Minister, Mr. Sanjay Ghosh. Sports Minister, Mr. Shrikir. The proposals of today is that the Education Minister will first speak about the removal of CC pattern and then will propose a bill on the free and compulsory education. Thank you.
I request the Minister of Education to express her proposal.
Honorable Speaker, as the Central Board of Secondary Education has removed CC pattern, I am here to point out few demerits of this pattern. The grading system is the biggest disadvantage of the CC pattern, as the students scoring 90 and 99 are both kept in A grade. There is no segregation. Grouping together of a large number of students is another big disadvantage. A lot of people argue that CC makes the students take their goals lightly. Students are forced to study all around the year, which in a way is like giving no rest to them. Each and every activity is monitored constantly. The internal exam papers are evaluated by the school teachers, which means there is a huge possibility of favoritism. Endless project and students' dependency on internet is having a casual approach towards re-evaluation, as this option is readily available for them. There has been an introduction of language labs for conducting, listening and speaking classes in Hindi and English, although a lot of schools do not have this infrastructure and facility for the same. Even though CC is a radical concept on the reformation of education system in India, but disadvantages needed to be addressed in a right manner, so as to bring about a real, genuine and a positive transformation to the education pattern with reduced stress, and this is why the Central Board of Secondary Education has removed CC pattern. The option class of 10 board exams will become mandatory again from 2018, and students may have to study an Indian language besides English and Hindi till they pass their secondary school. The governing body of the CBSE wants strict implementation of 3-language formula, Hindi, English and Sanskrit, and another language from including Sanskrit from the list of 22 in the Constitution.
Now I request the Higher Education Minister to speak out.
Honorable Speaker, actually the new education policy is nothing but the old gold cover. The system what we are following earlier has been now reintroduced again. The system which was existing for the past 8 years or so made the students to study limited portions only. and it also made the students to forget what they studied in SA1, FA1, FA2. Since they are not going to study again, however, a new policy, that is the old policy, the students should study a subject by keeping in mind that they have to remember the things at least till the end of the year. By this way, they will concentrate more and try to understand the concept more. Moreover, the pattern for higher education is like that we have to study full portions for the annual exams and is based for the IIT and NEET exams also. Hence, it is very good to have the full portion and remembering the concepts for the rest of the student's life. The center is reported to have made its mind to make the CPSE exam mandatory again from 2018. Thank you.
Bill of RT will be passed.
Honorable Speaker, I am here for proposing a bill. Right of children to free and compulsory education bill. This bill ensures free and compulsory education. That means no child from the age of 6 should be left uneducated. The bill ensures the child till the age of 14 gets education for free. The state and the central government officials who are related to the education ministries ensures all children of India of 16 to 14 years should have attendance, admission and completion of elementary education. The bill requires all private schools to reserve 25% of seats for the poor and the lower caste. The bill also provides that no child should be held back, expelled or required to pass a board examination until the completion of elementary education. The midday meal scheme is also included in this bill. The bill is in accordance to the Article 21A of the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, how can the government implement a right manner? Can the Honorable Education Minister explain? With the budget, Honorable Speaker, with the budget allocated and the support of the private institutions and NGOs, we can uplift the below poverty line people of our country to achieve 100% literacy.
Silence, members of the House. Let us vote for the bill. Honorable members of the House of the ruling party, please raise your hand if you say yes for the proposal. Now the opposition party. Yes, the majority voted for passing the bill. Hence, I request the bill to be passed to the upper house. Now let's begin the question hour of this parliament session. Question on demonetization.
Honorable Speaker, your government have been achieving demonetization. Can you explain the advantages of demonetization?
I request the Honorable Minister of Finance to answer.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to explain the advantages of demonetization. Demonetization was a bold and decisive strike in a series of measures to arrive at a new normal of bigger, cleaner and real GDP, gross domestic product. Demonetization will have an epoch-making impact. The biggest advantage of demonetization move is that it helps the government to track people who are having large amounts of unaccounted cash or cash on which no income tax is being paid. Because many people who earn black money keep that money as cash in their houses or in some secret place which is very difficult to find. And when demonetization happens, all that cash is of no value and such people have two options. One is to deposit the money in bank accounts and pay taxes on such amount, and second option is to let the value of the cash to get reduced to zero. According to estimates made by RBI, people have deposited more than rupees 3 lakh crores worth of black money in the bank accounts. New notes worth rupees 141 crores saved since demonetization. 18 lakh accounts are under scandal. This move has helped the government in slowing down the plague of parallel economics. Since black money is used for illegal activities like terrorism funding, gambling, money laundering, and also inflating the price of major asset classes like real estate, gold, due to demonetization, all such activities will get reduced for some time, and also it will take years for people to generate that amount of black money again, and hence, in a way, it helps in putting an end to this circle of people doing illegal activities to earn black money and using that black money to do more illegal activities. Another benefit is that due to people disclosing their income by depositing money in their bank accounts, government gets a good amount of tax revenue which can be used by the government towards the betterment of society by providing good infrastructure, hospitals, educational institutions, roads, and many facilities for poor and needy sections of the society. There has been higher GDP growth and tax collection due to demonetization. Pace of remonetization has picked up and will soon reach comfortable levels. The impact of demonetization will not spill over into the next year. For many decades, tax evasion was way of life for many. Post demonetization, India is moving towards a formal economy. The government is now seen as a trusted custodian of public money. Thank you.
Let's move on to the next question. Question on railway.
Honorable Speaker, will the Railway Minister be pleased to state whether any special plan is in the office to upgrade the standard of railway stations? The steps being taken to improve hygiene and cleanliness on railway stations, whether the water supplied at most of the stations containing large quantity of harmful bacteria taken regard, if so the steps being taken in this regard.
I request the Honorable Minister of Railway to answer.
Honorable Speaker, regarding the standard of railways, the total allocation for railways from the budget is 1,31,100 crores, with which 500 stations are being made user-friendly for the differentially abled by adding escalators and lifts. At least 25 stations are to be awarded for the cleanliness and hygiene. These steps increase the standard for railway systems. Regarding cleanliness of railway systems, as the government has started to supply a generous amount of clean water now, which is not available until recent times, now we are able to maintain the cleanliness and hygiene of railway systems. We have also started adding chlorines and other chemical compounds to prevent the water to get contaminated right after the recent complaints. Thank you.
Let's move on to the next question. Question on sport.
Honorable Speaker, will the Honorable Minister of Sports be pleased to say, kindly tell me about the steps taken by your government for the development of sports in India?
I request the Honorable Minister of Sports to answer.
Honorable Speaker, our country India, which does 1/6 of the world's population, inevitably figures at the end of the Olympic medal tally. It is because of lack of infrastructure, poor health, polluted environment, poverty, girls not allowed to participate in sports, boys being coaxed to become doctors and engineers. The popularity of cricket and hockey in India increased in recent years. In Olympics 2008, our country just got 3 medals. In 2012, just 6, and 2016, just 2. Do anyone know the reason for this problem? People who are talented and interested in sports are from poor families, so that our government are going to start free and fair education center in clean and hygiene area of every state in India. The sports society and India can lead the Olympic table in future. Thank you.
Let's move on to the next question. Question on external affairs.
Honorable Speaker and Honorable Minister of External Affairs. May you have told us about the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, and we would like to know if there are any actions taking place against such terrorism. Do not allow territories under Pakistan control to be used for terrorism against India. Thank you.
I request the Honorable Minister of External Affairs to answer.
Honorable Speaker, the Pakistan High Commissioner was demarched by the Foreign Secretary of Pakistan twice on September 21st and 27th. The government of Pakistan was reminded of its solemn commitment made on January 2004 and not to allow territories under its control to be used against terrorism in India. And it was also told in unequivocal terms that continuing cross-border attacks against India was unacceptable and that Pakistan cannot be denied on the impact of terrorism on the bilateral relationship. Thank you.
Let's move on to the next question. Question on defense.
Honorable Speaker, what is the implementation of OROP, One Rank, One Pension?
I request the Honorable Minister of Defense to answer.
Honorable Speaker, I am now going to speak about the implementation of One Rank, One Pension. Benefit will be given with effect from 1st July 2014. Pension will be repaid for free 1st July for 2014 pensioners retiring in the same rank and with the same length of service as the average of minimum and maximum pensions drawn by the retirees in the year 2013. Those drawing pensions above the average will be protected. The benefit would also be extended to family pensioners, including war widows and disabled pensioners. In future, the pension would be repaid every 5 years. Constitution of Judicial Committee headed by Justice L. Narasimha Reddy, retired Chief Justice of Patna High Court on 14 December 2015, which will give its report in 6 months on the census made by Government of India. Financial implications on account of grant OROP, including pre-mature retirees cases would be rupees 10,925.11 crore for payment of arrears, and annual financial implication would be rupees 7,488.7 crore. Till March 31, 2015, 15.91 lakh pensioners have been given the first installment of OROP, which amounts to rupees 2,951 crore. Information is being gathered with processing on priority basis. The cases of 1.15 lakh pensioners, after filling in the gaps of information such as the land service being assessed. Thank you.
Now I request the opposition leader to conclude the question hour.
Even though I am the opposition leader, I will not oppose any good decision taken by the ruling government. If the ruling government are taking steps to do wrong to citizens of India, it is our responsibility to look after it. Thank you.
I request the Honorable Prime Minister to reply.
Honorable Speaker, we can assure the opposition party that nothing will go wrong until there will be any favorism of the single person. But that too would be rectified by the particular ministers and me. So we will definitely work on the welfare of the people of India and the development of our country. Thank you for the opportunity.
As the session comes to an end, I thank all the honorable members of the ruling party and the opposition party for their support. I return the House to the agenda.
I request Sapna ma'am to speak some few words.